Hello, everybody. If you're fresh out of university or if you're in between jobs, this episode might help you get the best negotiation ever. I may be wrong. Let's go. Ryan, quick question. How long have you been working for me again?
5 years, man.
You're happy here, right?
Can say lah.
No.
Oh no, not good enough to answer. Nah, man, sorry, I'm out here.
Hey, sit. Today, actually, to be honest, right, today's episode is like, I would say almost a year in the making because we wanted to do this a lot earlier.
Yeah.
The pandemic kind of screwed everything up, like how we mentioned last episode.
The pandemic just screwed everything up.
Yeah,
Let's
but
be real.
Yeah, look, we got a brand new studio. We got a brand new lineup of anchors. Dennis is not here today because we can only fit 3. He a big size idiot, you know.
Yeah.
We told him to stay home.
You go and bulk too much already.
But today's episode is actually really interesting. Now, before we go on, I'd like to introduce my guest here today who will probably solve all your problems when it comes to switching jobs or looking for a job. Actually, when it comes to graduation, I think the most important thing is looking for a job and how do you make the
I
most
would
out
say
of
it's
it.
the most stressful thing.
Really?
Right after graduation. I don't know, for me lah. Right after graduation, the most stressful thing was looking for a job.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll talk about... Yeah, I think I would have to agree too. But today, ladies and gentlemen, our guest on the show, he is... I have to put on my low voice because, you know, there's a very high post.
Yeah.
He is the CEO of Hiredly in Malaysia. Yeah, it is a portal that allows you to look for jobs. Over 3,000 of our jobs listed there. You can find anything you want. If you can't find anything, you're just downright picky. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big warm welcome to Mr. Derek Toe. Hello.
Hey, hi guys.
Hello.
Good to be here.
Yes, finally. How have you been? Good?
Yeah, okay. I'm glad you're sort of like trying to get back to normal now.
Yeah, I know. We try. But, you know, once in a while, you still have the, close contact.
Yeah. It happens a little too often for my liking, but I think it's something we have to live with lah. It's something we have to deal with.
Funny story though, last week, we had Dennis like sitting where you were. Just before the show started, he's like, oh, my daughter just got positive. COVID positive.
No, we sanitize the chair.
Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, we put the microphone in the washing machine. Derek, okay, for the benefit of all our listeners listening in right now, could you please explain to us, you know, what it is you do and where you're from?
Yeah, so I'm Derek. I founded a company called Hiredly. So many years ago, I think about 7 years ago, it started as a portal called WOB, W-O-B-B. And the whole concept was to help someone find the right place to work. And we focused a lot on company culture.
Right.
Yeah, that was the original idea. And so actually when I was doing headhunting in those days, and when someone came to me with this idea, I thought, hey, I think Malaysians would really love something like this. So zero market research.
Wow.
I have no idea how to start a company. I didn't approach it as a businessman. I always tell people I sort of approach it as an artist. In a way where like I think people were lucky. Let's start doing it, and we got lucky lah. So
wow.
Yeah, I saw it caught fire like it sparked and it caught fire, and a lot of job seekers, a lot of employers came to say, hey, I want to list on your platform.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's evolved quite a little bit right now. I mean, today we also do headhunting and all that, but the mission still remains the same, like to help people find the right place to work, to work where they belong.
Right, that's pretty cool that, you know, where you said that you ventured into this without any business knowledge. It just kind of organically evolved. It kind of reminds me of myself.
I think it goes to show also, like, if you do something and you do something good, like, the business will come.
I bet
Not to say, like, you don't care about the business side of it at all, but first things first, you got to make sure your product is good lah.
I feel the first thing that you kind of have to have is a purpose. I bet you had a purpose for starting this.
Yes. So we have very mission driven from the beginning. I will always care a lot about helping people find that right place. Because I think me personally, you could use the word lost very loosely lah. I kind of like, when I was young, I was into, this was early 1990s, I was learning computer programming.
He's giving away his age, but don't worry. I can assure you that he looks really young.
This is before the internet. I was learning, like voluntary learning programming.
Even more giving away his age.
I am very old.
But he looks really young. What's your secret? Sorry, go ahead. Sorry for interrupting.
When I grew up, I think I did accounting. So I did accounting for a short while, because don't know, typical, not sure what to do. Let's do something safe, do accounting, and then I went to headhunting, and now I'm doing a tech company. So you could say I went through this phase myself.
Yeah, it's like, you know, when you mentioned that you didn't know, you know, everybody do accounting because it's the safest bet. It's like 98% of all of our parents.
So it's like accounting or engineering
Or okay, okay. My mom was more realistic. She knew that I would mess it up if I did medicine. I would be of no contribution.
You think like if you were a doctor, even your mom wouldn't go and ask you for medicine?
She wouldn't. So the thing I feel like okay, you know, Ryan, you're. I don't know whether this is the right question to ask because the first place that you worked at is
Yeah.
Yeah, this place.
I'm still here.
And you
Wow.
just
Maybe I need to go on
You're a rare
IMD.
breed.
See what options are there out for me.
Yeah, but like you mentioned earlier on just before we start this show, I think the most stressful part for any individual or for a fresh graduate for that matter is actually looking for a job. Why is that so? I just want to hear your opinion because like I would kind of agree 50-50. Yeah.
Because I mean, it's always like you say, the next step. You know, you study in kindergarten, or if you don't go kindergarten, whatever lah. Then you go primary school, then you go secondary school, and then from here, the most natural progression is say, okay, I want to go and study college. If you can afford it, you go and study in college, right? And once you do that, once you finish, the next step is to get a job. That time you study college, and then what's next? You know, you just laze around man for 10 years.
Yeah.
So I would say that's the most stressful part for me. I say a lot of people also will be like that, but for me specifically, it's because like I've never been a person who was like not say lost, but like I always knew what I wanted to do next. So not having a job at that time was very, very stressful for me. It took me about like almost 6 months to get a job.
Really?
I started here in May, right?
I was too lenient then. I should have just rejected you.
No, because I was looking for a job in the States.
Yeah,
so I started here in May. So I graduated in December.
I'm so offended that I'm your next best option in part. Well,
Sorry, you go to the States and I go and join you there.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, 6 months.
Yeah, because I graduated in December and then I tried to look for a job for over 3 months there.
Right.
So for over 3 months until like March, April like that, I couldn't find a job and I was like, okay, you know what, I gotta come home now.
Okay.
And then I came home and then I still continued looking for a job because I've never had, I'm not those kind of people who like, you know, summer holiday, let's take a break. Like every summer holiday I was like interning and doing something, trying to make most of my time. So for me it was very stressful not having a job.
Okay. Was it because your parents were already pressuring you to kind of live on your own and cut your finances and stuff like that?
No, this is just me. This is just me, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my parents were quite supportive. They didn't like push me or anything. It's just for me, I found it stressful. Like, what am I doing? You know, yeah, nice to have like 1 month holiday, but after that it's like, yo, what am I doing in my life now? You know, I need to move to the next step.
Wow, your parents must be very proud. Auntie, uncle, you're listening or not? But it's coming from Ryan's mouth, huh? If you ever, Derek, I like to ask you the same question though. We'll rewind back to the first when you were fresh out of uni and you came out looking for a job. You know, what was it like? Was it easy for you? Was it like, you know, stressful for you?
Yeah. So I went to London very unexpectedly. I wasn't supposed to go to London. I was supposed to do my degree in Malaysia. Something happened personally. Then my parents were like, okay lah, you can go London, you know. And so we are very middle class family, right? So they sort of borrowed money. They sort of kind of bet everything to send me there for 1 year.
Oh wow!
And I was supposed to go there for 1 year and come back.
Right.
But when I went there, I suddenly decided, you know what? Like it's such a waste if I don't try to find a job here.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Since you're there, you know, since I'm there, just try. You know, you never know. If you get one, then you top dollar can stay there longer.
Yeah. So I tried really hard, and so for context, right, the university that I started studying and graduating was ranked number 88.
Wow.
Not
bad.
bad.
Chinese, not bad.
Yeah. They're not Chinese, so they say. So you can imagine, right? Like not okay lah. I say okay. I won't say anything bad about university, but it's very hard for a foreigner without a visa to get a job.
Yes.
And I didn't have A levels and stuff, so I worked really hard. And I remember I had to work like part-time jobs. I worked in like small companies to kind of make things work.
Yeah.
And for many years in the beginning, I couldn't even afford a flight ticket home.
Oh, wow.
So it's either I fly home or I pay rent. Literally,
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
I didn't want to ask money from my parents. So I still remember like my brother is like I have a younger brother. So I sort of missed almost his entire teenage.
Oh
life.
man!
So the next time I saw him was like almost an adult, and I was like, oh my god! Like,
Suddenly jump from like this height, like 4 feet to suddenly become like 6 feet monster already.
Yeah. And so it was so hard. It was so hard. I remember this was again. In those days, finding a job meant like the printing a CV, putting it in an envelope, and like literally snail mailing to people. And I went through that whole process, so it's very difficult. But in the end, it sort of worked out. Like I worked really hard, and I got into like a good company.
Right.
Did you apply to a lot of places? Like 10, 20 companies?
100.
100. 100.
100.
And you have to print the CV one by
yes,
one.
I printed 100
Whoa!
copies. Yeah,
we
yeah,
take
yeah.
things way for granted these days. I send out 20 emails, so I'm like, wow, I'm tired already, you know. Every email, dear sir, madam.
Oh yeah, I remember when I was applying for jobs, I used to send out letters, not emails.
Yeah lah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm quite a little bit younger than you guys are.
So how long? Thanks, right? So how long? Okay, so how long were you searching for a job for? Like, how long were you jobless before you actually got your first job?
Well, depends on what you count as a first job. So I worked in like a lot of small companies, like part-time.
First monthly paycheck. Not part-time hourly, like your first salary.
First proper full-time
Full-time
job,
yeah.
salary.
like a proper visa
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that, right? I think maybe a year and a half after I graduated.
Oh
So,
wow!
so before that was like mostly like part-time jobs.
side hustling.
Working in a restaurant, like carrying food as a waiter, you know, just
wow.
to pay rent.
Yeah.
I went
So
through
there's a living paycheck to paycheck at that time.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so and I say in those days, I like an old man like that, but you know, but really felt like a job was very important. Like money is very important because I need to
Yeah.
pay bills.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't change. It hasn't changed today too because I'm pretty sure that every money is still important. Like the minute you finish your education, you know you want to get a job as fast as possible.
I think the beauty of a job, right? I think one thing why all of us, especially like I can still remember like one big reason why I want to get a job quick, is that you mentioned because like I don't want my parents to keep paying things for me really.
Yeah.
You know, they paid for my education. I'm lucky enough to get that. I felt like I owe it to them, you know. Get a job, get off their backs really, you know, be more financially independent on myself. So I think that was a big like factor in why I was like so stressed out about finding a job. Because it was the first step to being financially independent for my parents.
Right.
And I'm glad to say like today that I'm pretty financially independent now.
Yeah, somebody just dropped the new house. Got dropped keys of new house. We got new house. So just collected the keys. Like last week.
No,
Jane,
like, now financially
Tuesday.
independent already got loan.
Yeah, it's like hey Tuesday. I need to go somewhere. I need to collect my keys. Sorry, what? My keys. Oh, I got a house idea for you.
Yeah, but you know you can't buy a house if you don't have a job. Let's be real. Unless you're lucky, you trade NFT, trade Ethereum, whatever, and make money lah.
I have a very different experience as compared to the both of you though. I didn't really send out like 100 emails, but I think I started working even when I was in uni. Hence why like I had a bit of pocket money. But I think like my perception back then and my perception today will be completely different. Back then when you have 5,000 ringgit in your bank, you can think you can last the whole year.
Yeah.
Or last really, I was like, I'm invincible. I have 5,000, and all I need to do is just have that 5,000 zun on the dot. If I earn 5,000, I spend 1 ringgit. You know what I mean? If I have like 5,500, I spend 500 ringgit, that kind of thing. When I graduated, I wanted to look for a job in Perth, Australia, but I never got around to it because it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm Asian or something. Like and I think my field of study, I was doing marketing and PR. So they were really, really looking for people like accountants, finance department, and not so much for the marketing. So before you know it, I came back to Malaysia lah, and then I was like, okay, you know what? I've studied for like 21 years of my life. I kind of want like 6 months off. Yeah, because like I got like 4,000 bucks in the bank. I'm like, yeah, I'm invincible.
So 4,000 to last you 6 months.
No, for the whole year, dude. It's like, yeah. And like, I mean, I wasn't doing any side hustles. I knew that I used to, because I used to play yo-yos when I was young, right? I used to do side hustles, perform for half an hour, they pay me $50. So like if I did like 4 shows a month, I got like $200. And it's like, that's easy, dude. And I wasn't paying for a car loan. I had my mom's beat up Ford. It's really beat up, and I beat it up even more. But the minute I got back, how I got my first job was through recommendation. It's like my mom knew someone. Hey, they were looking for someone, and straight away I was forced by my mom to cut my hair. I had long hair.
Oh my god.
To go for an interview with my then boss with short hair. Basically, I cut my hair with short hair, and my boss had long hair.
It's like, damn it, I could have kept my long hair.
Yeah, and this was in Astro. And here's like what, okay, it may sound like, I've been spoon fed and it was really easy, but when I went in, I had no knowledge of what I was supposed to do when it comes to interviews. I just went in there. They're like, oh, hi.
Fake it till you make it.
Not even fake it till you make it. They were asking more questions rather than I was asking. And I feel that if I could rewind back to back then, I would ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Like, when you were working here, you asked questions, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't ask
I was
questions.
always taught to ask your questions.
Yeah.
You don't ask, you don't know. That's why.
So I didn't ask questions, and I settled for like a basic pay of like $1,800, which back then to me was like, whoa. Like I don't make $200 a month now. I make like 1,008.
over.
I got my first paycheck. It was like 1,005. Then I went to the why you said 1,008? That's we deduct EPF and stuff like that. I was like, idiots. No one told me this.
Yeah, at that time, your 1,008, in 3 months, you can make another 5,000.
Oh yeah, exactly. I can retire.
Oh, double already the money.
Yeah, but that was where I thought I was kind of, I won't say shortchanged, but not really well informed when it comes to going for an interview, because I think like a few months down the line, somebody kind of like, so I moved on to a different department. It's a completely different department. I used to work as a promotions exec. I write all the scripts for radio. I used to work at Astro as a radio for promotions. I write all the scripts, I write all the promotions and whatever not. Then I kind of evolved and I went to entertainment. I did radio broadcasting. And I realized that the person that took my spot, which is a fresh graduate, got probably like $600 more than I did as a starting pay.
Oh, wow.
Then obviously when you find that out, you'd be like,
I could have gotten that.
Yeah,
you
why-
get that feeling, right?
yeah, then you go ask the guy, what's your graduation? What's your qualification? Same as me, same as me, that kind of thing. So it's like here's my question to you, Derek. A lot of people these days tend to. Do you think that most people these days tend to want to get a job just because they need to survive, or do you see lack of self-entitlement? I mean, like not self-entitlement, but lack of people going and asking for what they should rightfully be asking.
In terms of negotiations.
Yeah,
right?
negotiations, yeah.
So I think this is tricky. The person that wins the negotiation is always the party that's willing to walk away. Let's put it this way, right? So
Right.
that's my general philosophy. That means if you're looking for a job and you only have one offer on the table,
Yeah.
you're
not
going to
gonna
lose
win.
the negotiation,
Yeah.
right? Because you're going to be very afraid to push it too far because
Yeah.
you might lose the offer. Whereas if you're like, I don't know, like 5 offers on the table, then you push it, right?
So it's as if like before the negotiation has even started, it's like you can hypothetically win it already lah. The
Yeah.
guy with nothing to lose, right?
Yeah. So I think negotiation is just basically just asking for more money. But in order for you to be able to be in that state, right, that means you have so many offers, right? So this is why I tell people a lot, right? So sometimes people, they say, I go to a job interview to practice, and they don't take it very seriously.
Yeah.
But then I was like, but if you're using it for practice,
Yeah.
you should take it seriously because you're training yourself to be good at interview. You're not practicing
Yeah.
for a bad interview, right?
Yeah.
So I read and some people say, I'm just like for fun. I mean, for fun can play badminton, right? But if you're going, but if you're going for a job interview, I'm really hoping that everyone you go to this interview as though you're interviewing for your dream job.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
go and you go as far as once you get the offer, you can still say no.
Yeah.
But until you get the offer, that's when you can negotiate. I mean, you get to a point where you're in the state, I got a few offers.
Yeah.
I can reject this one. I want to negotiate this one. Then you have some power. So if you don't get your job interview to the point that the company makes you an offer, you don't come and say that, I wasn't interested in the company. Well, actually, the reality is the company wasn't interested to hire you.
Right.
So I really tell you, just go to as many interviews as possible. Take it seriously. Once you have many offers on the table, then you can negotiate.
Right.
And whatever technique you want to use also, in some sense, it matters a lot less than
Yeah.
the fact that you have options.
Right.
Yeah.
But when how some employers will ask you, are we the only place you applied for? Have you applied anywhere else? Does that sort of already kind of give away that the employers are like, I'm kind of interested, but I want to know who else you're employing. You basically send your resume to.
Yes. I mean, that's one sign.
Aha.
Some employers, they do ask it as a standard question. So this is why it's kind of tricky, right? The way you answer it, because you don't want to be like, anything also can.
Yeah.
You want to be sort of like, I am interested in you, but I'm telling you the truth. I also have others that I'm kind of looking at.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in you.
Yeah.
This
So
one
you
is
have
like-
to kind of balance that.
It's like
But-
psychological
dating is
warfare.
like you're trying to cow away, but you don't want to play a bit hard to get. It's like, hey, I like you, but keep my options open a bit first. For now.
Yeah. So sort of the other party feels like you have options,
Right.
but they also feel that you're actually interested in them. Like it's
Yeah.
like a kind of like a juggle.
But what people always say, right, is quite true also. Like, you always want something that you have a chance you might not have, you might not be able to get. Like, the piece of chocolate, no one wants it. If no one wants it, you also don't want. But the moment someone wants it, you're like, hey, shit, I kind of want the chocolate now.
FOMO.
Yeah. I guess it kind of works in this scenario also.
It applies to a lot of things, right? Even job search also applies. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Very interesting. Then, like, okay, I negotiation up because obviously I didn't have any negotiation skills when I was asking for my first job. Yeah, I think even after or so, which I would like to go out, like, when I was working in the company long enough, I also was negotiating for my payroll to be a little bit higher because I didn't really get paid great. I mean, it's not bad, but it could be better. But like, when what are the big no-nos for any new employees? When it comes to negotiating for their salary.
Yeah, I think you want to position it in a way where, again, you're trying to balance, you're showing them that you're interested. So
Yep.
you could go, let's say, you could say something along these lines. For example, your expectation is 5,000.
Yeah.
But you don't know whether, maybe they're thinking, I want to offer you 4,000, let's
Yeah.
say, you're expecting 5, right? So you just say that, okay, look, something like, I'm really interested in this job. I love 1, 2, 3, whatever reasons, why I would love working here and why I think I'd be a great asset.
Yep.
In my mind right now, my expectation is about 5,000. So I understand that you may have like a certain budget. So in general, I do want to work here. But the closer you get to 5,000, you will make me sort of see that decision as a good one. It will be easier for me to make a decision like
Right.
this. Something nonsense. So
I need to
you're
take notes here. All these words to use.
Okay, Ryan, could you get out of the room?
You're gonna hear all these words tomorrow already.
Yeah, could you like get out for a while and never listen to this episode?
So expecting what you've done is you've given them a line, but you're not like so hard-headed that if you don't meet 5,000, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So they still feel, this person still wants to be in, and maybe you're originally offering 4, okay lah, give him like 4, 5 lah, 4, 6, whatever it is, right? So
Yeah.
and they still feel like you're still open to this conversation, rather than like, I'm only here for money, no 5,000, I'm out. Which actually leaves a very bad impression to
Yeah.
Yeah.
But isn't that like a very wrong thing to go for though? Like if you want to work in the company, you're only working there for the money. Isn't that like, you're never going to be happy because you're just going to be there like a robot. It's like, okay, I'm here. I'm here because for the money, but you're not here because you love doing the job.
Yeah, so in reality, you have to balance a lot of things. So right now in Highly, when we say, we want to help someone work where they belong, like money is one factor, but it's just one. Like there's so many things like the nature of your work, whether if you care about impact or like the culture of the company, what your colleagues are like. So it's much more deeper than that. And I think the second part is about, I suppose, you want to make money is good, but you need to do it sustainably. That's how I look at it.
Right.
So if you go for something that pays very well, but you hate it every day, it's very hard to just keep going. And I think in the long term, right, it also makes it very difficult for you to grow.
Right.
Yeah.
Because whether you're a fresh grad, let's say you're under 30, whatever you are, if you think 5,000 a lot of money now, it's not a lot of money. If you think 6,000, it's not a lot of money. One day it's not going to be a lot of money.
Yeah.
So you always need to think very long term. Like what is going to help me get to 10,000, 50,000, whatever it is that number you have in mind, like sometime in the future. So you need to be able to do something that you don't hate.
Right.
So that you can, it's easier, right?
Like kind of like plot your trajectory in a way, after this, I can see where the next step is to go into the next bracket, that kind of thing. Is that what you're trying to get at?
Yeah. And when you, as you grow, because you're coming, in order to grow, you need to be good at your job.
Yeah.
You need to stay in your job for very long. So you cannot hate your job.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So the money is important, but in order to get the money, you cannot just be like, I will hate this job, but the money is very good, I'll take this. Actually, that's a very, very kind of bad long-term decision to make. I would rather pick the job that pays less now, but I know that I like it, I'll do well here. One day it will become very high. Right. Like then that was a much better long-term strategy for your career.
Yeah, I would relate to that a lot. But I mean, my okay, I used to work in Astro. I was a radio announcer for hits, and I was doing it for 7 years. Initially, it didn't pay that well, but I think throughout, when I did the morning crew, it paid well. I'm not gonna lie, but I wasn't happy. And if the fact that
Did
they
you
were
question yourself, like, why am I doing this?
Yeah,
Is it
every
legit
day,
just for
dude.
money? You start at 5 in the morning every day?
I didn't do it because of the money. I think the money was not the. I think I did it because I just needed a secure job. That's all. Because like when I when I did the radio gig, right? My mother was like, "Huh, radio stable one man? Sure, entertainment business style, right?" Then in my mind I was like, "No matter I do it for 2 years, and I did it for 7 years, and I feel until today that radio is still the most secure entertainment job in the industry because you have like regular programming, not like TV. You have a season of the Biggest Loser. If it doesn't do well in the first season, they cancel the season.
Yeah.
Radio, they play music every day.
Yeah.
And whatever it is, programming will still go. So I think like when it came, I know when I was doing the morning crew, I was put on the morning crew not because, I don't know why I was put on the morning crew. Okay, because maybe somebody left and then, I was just the more convenient one at the point of time. So I was filling somebody's gap lah, right? And at the same time, YouTube was blowing up and, they were kind of riding on that success Okay, maybe I shouldn't say that. Yeah, they are. They were. Screw it. Then, the money was great, but I didn't like the
Your
the
mom was
lifestyle.
worried when you left radio.
Oh, she told you?
She told me.
See, exactly.
She told me. I remember I was like, what, 2-3 months into the job, I was sending your mom home.
Oh, really?
I was like, Ayo, last time when Jin left radio, I was so worried.
Yeah.
Now I'm so happy he can hire people.
No, but just sharing from my experience, although they paid well, but when I left radio, obviously I did the calculations, right? I was like, okay, I could live for another year. That's about it.
It's like your buffer.
Yeah,
your buffer
if I'm doing this YouTube thing and nothing happens in 1 year, do I knock back at my old employer? Is that a good idea? Going back to your old employer, say, I want my job back. Aren't you in the losing end? Right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not again back to like a psychological game. It's like you're sort of in the I'm not sure what's the right, on the back foot.
Yeah.
Right. It's very hard to negotiate, and if you go in, like, how do you leave after that? It's just so strange.
But I think it's quite situational also, right? This kind of thing. Because I had a friend who left his job. He thought he wanted to try something else, but he had a very good relationship with his employer.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a bad breakup or anything. Like he just left, and then he found out like out there not as nice as what the previous company was doing for him, and then he just came back and the boss was like, yeah, sure thing.
Okay. I mean, like, I think it works for a small company lah, but for
it's a huge company.
Really?
Huge multinational. I won't say lah, but like big multinational company.
Yeah, but where I was
20,000 employee big.
Oh.
Wow.
But I was so surprised. He told me, he's like, yeah, I just went back. My manager is like, yeah, sure thing, come back and join us. I think it helped that they had a good relationship before he even left lah.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was like a bit more open to the boss and everything, rather than just like, I'm quitting, bye.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think the HR term or something, they call it like a boomerang employee, something like a boomerang, like they come back. So I think different companies kind of see it very differently. I know many companies that welcome boomerang employees and stuff. My view on it is like kind of, I'm not very sure. I'm more of a sense where, let's say if you've grown in highly and then you want to go to the next thing, I wish you well. I want to go continue your adventure. But somehow if you sort of come back, I don't know what it means also in terms of like your long-term career. I want people to keep growing, like looking forward to the next thing,
Yeah.
But what if they come back and tell you, I went elsewhere and I'm getting more information and I believe in your vision, so I want to come here and help you.
Yeah, I mean, like
For 2 times the amount.
I mean, like, it could be a possibility, right? Like,
Yeah.
Because if you're staying in that one company and you don't go outside and explore, like, you don't know, like, is it better? Is it worse?
Yeah. So I mean, right now I'm very open. I'm trying to be open-minded about this. So internally, there are people trying to convince me to change my view about this. So, but generally, that's where I see lah. But at some point, because ultimately we want to help people work where they belong, right? So I suppose at different phase of their life, they might belong in a certain company, and then one day maybe it's back to us. I don't know.
Yeah, I know that radio, right? They completely switch each other. It's like if these fellas in hits, 1 minute it'll be in hits, and 1 minute they'll be in fly. Then after that they'll be back in hits. And then it's like fly and hits, right? Are always switching radio DJs, right? The industry is always completely the same. But where I was coming at just now is no matter how much they pay you, if you're not happy, you're not happy. You're not even. I mean, you can go out and then you can spend money, but at the end of the day, if you're not happy, it's quite sad lah. Because you have to wake up every single day, going to a place that you really dread. And then it's like, you got to work about 10 hours a day and it takes up like 90% of your livelihood. Yeah. So, that's kind of sad.
Yeah. Actually, one thing I just want to highlight. So the whole narrative that I think is good in general that you need to not hate what you're doing. And you grow. But sometimes I think some, especially a lot of, maybe if someone's kind of new to work, is they take this idea a little bit too far. In the sense where as soon as they encounter a problem at work, as soon as they encounter something they don't like to do or they don't kind of, and then I hear things like, I feel I'm not passionate anymore. But actually in every job there are parts that you may not like one.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So people need to understand that. So when like someone like yourself, right, Jane, might say, you need to kind of love what you do. I think you look at it in a mature way. Like you do understand there are parts that you won't like, but in general you do like it in most, right? So whoever's kind of listening, I hope they have that more balanced view. As soon as you see something you don't like, don't just give up immediately.
Right.
This is a bit strange because obviously I'm a founder of a recruitment company.
Yeah.
You would think I will want people to say, change job lah, but I that's not what I want people to be successful. So don't give up too soon. So to push forward a little bit more. But at some point, if it's really time to go, you may know then. But don't give up too soon.
Okay.
Have a more macro point of view of everything lah. Like see everything as a whole rather than just
Don't be too narrow-minded lah.
Yeah. And if you counter something that's a bit hard to do, I mean, it doesn't mean that you hate your job yet.
Yeah.
Not
Every
yet.
job has that kind of
parts
thing
that
lah.
you may not like.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. And then okay, here's another question though. I think we're talking more of like for fresh graduates because like a lot of people who listen to us are kind of young. So when like everybody wants to, okay, obviously everybody or every parent will want their kids to basically work in the 4 C's what 4A
The
MNC lah, whatever lah. Okay?
the big four.
The big four, the big four, and stuff like that. Okay,
right.
But let's just be real about this. The big four can't accommodate everyone, and in order for you to kind of like look for a job, like you mentioned, you sent out like hundreds of emails. How do you know whether the place is good to work at or not? Now, sometimes it may be easy because you may have a friend working there, and then you'll be like, "Hey, how's it working there?"
Yeah.
But it could be a double-edged shot because if hey, don't work here lah, I'm just here for them. It could be a lot of things.
Yes.
How do you basically what sort of research should one do to kind of identify whether the company is good or bad to work in?
Yeah. So I think in general maybe look for 3 things, right?
Okay.
I generally believe that different people suit different cultures.
Yeah.
So for example, right? So the first thing I would look at is, let's say, the nature of the business.
Right.
So if you're applying to a bank, let's say, and banks are highly regulated kind of industry.
Yeah.
That will sort of reflect internally how they work. Maybe a bit more careful, less, more risk averse. Don't take big steps and stuff like that. And so maybe a lot of red tape, right? Because there are industries like that. Versus if you are interviewing for, let's say, a technology company, a startup.
For
Right.
Elon Musk. My boss just bought Twitter.
I don't think it's Elon Musk considered a startup anymore lah.
Yeah.
but they have like a kind of like a startup mindset.
Yes, yeah.
Where they are growing, they are changing a lot.
Very gung-ho.
Very gung-ho, very driven. And that kind of environment might be very fast-paced, but also, if you use a negative term, might feel a bit unstable. A bank might feel very stable. But if you kind of reverse it, a bank might be, slow, like that. And then like a Elon Musk kind of company, wow, fast-paced,
Very
exciting. So nature of business is one. I think the second thing you will look at is the leader. Actually, it matters a lot who your leader is. So not just the leader at the top of the company, but the person directly you are reporting to. Right? Something to value. So this is the beauty of it is most of the time you will meet this person.
I see.
Right? During the interview process, you actually meet this person. Now,
Right.
when you're meeting them, you obviously you're trying to get a sense of what they are like.
Right.
I've heard this before. Like someone says something like, "Oh, when it comes to like Q&A time, you can ask them a question like, oh, what is your management style?"
Oh.
That's it.
Okay.
Now, it's a bit of a tricky one. This is my opinion. Because there are some people like, why you ask me my management style, right?
Who are you?
A bit more like old school.
None of your goddamn business.
Yeah, who's interviewing who now? I mean, some of them think like that, right? So
Right.
I would maybe suggest changing that question a little bit. So make it about you. So you can try asking them something like, okay, like I love to be an asset to this company. What kind of work style would you prefer me to have if you do take me on for the role? And the way this person answer the work style that they prefer you to have will give you an idea what their management style is.
Right.
Do you have any examples of like work or anything that any work styles that you've seen before?
Yeah. So I when I was interviewing last time, I also asked questions like this, and then one of the managers that interviewed actually answered, my expectation is if you need to come into work, you come into work. I want someone who's very flexible. So if I say, we need to come in on Saturday, that you are flexible, you can come in on Saturday. So the answer, so immediately, okay, so in this company, let's say working weekends very normal, right?
Yeah.
So it does not go bad. It depends on what you care about.
Yeah.
So now I know just by asking a question like that.
Yeah.
So another company might say something. I want someone. I prefer that you were a bit more vocal. Let's say. Right. That's my work style. I want my team to be able to tell me what's going on. Whether they are having any issues or not, then we can kind of solve it together rather than trying to like be quiet. So, this person's work style is a little bit.
He needs the feedback. He wants to hear his
maybe
employees.
have more of a coaching kind of mindset. And the other initial one maybe sounds a bit more like authoritarian, kind of, you come in, I want you come in, that kind of. Right?
Yeah.
So a question like that might help you figure it out.
Yeah.
No right or wrong, it's just their individual style.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then some people, I mean, like I said, working weekend, some people maybe they don't mind. I know a lot of people who, let's say they're young, let's say they don't really have family, and they are very career minded. They work up to them. right?
Okay.
Because what they want.
Here's something else though. Okay, so like in the more recent times right, a lot of the seniors would tend to comment on the younger workforce or the younger fresh graduates to be very choosy, very spoiled. Okay, I know you do get the whole like sending CVs through WhatsApp and stuff like that, and I know that's just a very small minority, but people tend to say that the younger workforce or the younger generation tend to be a little bit more demanding as compared to people like 10 years ago. Are they right to say that, or are they wrong to say that?
I think the way the market is working now, because it's so much easier to look for a job.
Yeah.
I remember I told you the story just now, like, I had to like mail my CV.
Yeah.
Print it, mail it. It's so hard to send my CV to one company. Today
you
can
find
just,
the ad on the
you
newspaper
find the
some
ad,
more.
I take the address, I put it in the envelope, print it, I sign, So it takes so much. So every application you take very seriously. And if they suddenly call you for interview, like, oh, this company invited. So wow, think very seriously. Today you just click, send ready.
On Hiredly.
Just remember, don't leave every company on CC. Just BCC.
Oh man, I remember that. I remember this guy freaking like
CC so many.
he CC'd so many of my
yeah,
whole
right?
industry, and all of us in our group chat. Hey, did you all get this same email? I'm like, yeah. And then what we did was, the funny thing was, we started replying to him to push to each other. Yeah, I was like, hey, can you go on? Yeah, Danko, would you like to answer this? And then Danko replied, no, Jin, would you like to answer this? And we really trolled him, and he didn't reply. Okay, because so. Do you think, because a lot of people tend to complain, I on Twitter is where people talk a lot. They say that people, especially these business owners, they will always be venting, which I feel, to be honest, they shouldn't. But it's just, this is open for discussion. Anybody's opinion is it's valid over here. They tend to say that they will say things like, what do these youngsters know these days? Straight away ask for 5,000. What experience do they have? Who do they think they are asking for 5,000? So when someone comes on to it and asks for a really high salary that the employer suddenly does not like really agree to, I mean, like, how should one actually approach that or take that kind of response?
I think every business owner should understand this. It is a market.
Yeah.
So the same way like your business works, right? So if you have a product, you set a price for your product, and if your customer doesn't want to buy because your product sucks, whatever, then they just don't buy, right? And then you have to kind of change until you have enough business, right? So this is like a talent market. So there will be some job seekers who may be unreasonable with their expectation. The salary is very high. Then you don't hire them.
Yeah.
So my point of view is that you sort of like you adapt to the market.
Yeah.
Right or wrong, maybe there's a group of people who are very entitled, their expectations, okay, whatever, you just don't hire them, right? So because the market is such a way now, one thing that I suppose every business owner should understand is if you complain about the market, it doesn't change the market.
Right. Yeah.
Same like your business. Like if you complain, how come my customer so dumb, don't like my product? So what? The customer don't buy. The end of they don't want to buy. That's the end thing. So if you understand that the talent market is a little bit like this now, so you have to change your strategy to adapt. So one of the things I would say is that, let's say if you find a large group of people are sort of behaving like this, so maybe you have to work harder to compete for the group that you do not think will think or behave like this. Right. To try to, another thing, like, for example, right now in Hiredly, right, we hire a lot of fresh grads. 60% of our current workforce started with us as a fresh grad, less than 2 years of experience. Right?
Okay.
So I always tell people, like, we are a company built by fresh grads. But one of the things I do every year, once after we hire them, is I personally teach. It just happened a few weeks ago. I personally teach a class to our fresh grads about what is it like transferring from university life to work.
Okay.
I'm talking a lot of like boring stuff, like how to deal with office gossip. How to deal with how to get promoted. How to think like your boss. Like just like real
how
stuff.
How to file your taxes.
That's, oh my god, that's actually pretty good. Like the questions you just, the topic at hand that you just highlighted is what I wished I would have been told when I was working in an office.
Same. Because you don't learn things like this in school.
Correct.
Like no one teaches you this.
Correct.
It's something that we kind of like.
You come in and you'll be smart because every company right will always withhold information from their employees, thinking that this is sensitive information. Like for me, look, as a boss, right, I have sort of like had that mentality as well. But when I think right now I'm beginning to be a little bit more open with whatever I spend or whatever I invested in terms of projects, and then they understand, because we always have this thinking, or the olden days people have to think, you know what, after that they're going to be complaining, wow, you charge so high, how come I'm paying so little? Then I realized that actually it's not really like that. Everyone tends to work in tandem in order to basically make everything work, and I feel that Some companies, yes, some companies will have to withhold information, but most of them, if they basically are in a very transparent and open environment, everybody is basically working in the best interests of the company for it to succeed. But then again, I might be wrong. This only happens in more smaller scale companies, not those MNC, banks and everything.
500 people in one company.
I read this. I don't know what the exact stat is, but like when the company is large enough, there's a certain percentage of parents that actually work against the company.
Oh man!
Really?
Whoa! You're paying them to basically go against the company propaganda.
Whoa. I don't know what the percent. You can maybe 5% or something like that.
I mean, I think that's quite believable, like you say, like you can't please everyone, especially if you say like you can only please 99% of the people. If you have 100 people, that's one person that's not happy really, you know.
Yeah.
You have 1,000 people, that's like what 10 people that's not happy really, you know. So it kind of snowballs.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
So I think it's very natural for that to happen. You can't. It's unavoidable You can't have a company that big and like have everyone super duper happy.
It's tough. And then I think as an employer, because this is a startup company, I would like to assume this is a startup company. Like every time, like every employee will have this thinking, it's like, oh, you know what? I hope this person works with me forever because I value this person. And after when a person leaves, right, an employee always have to, what did I do wrong? You know what I mean? Like always that. But this is all in small companies lah. But here's another question though I like to ask, because like I kind of went through this. And we're just bringing all this up for discussion. I worked in a company for 7 years, and I was like, I knew I wanted to leave, but I think I dangled for a little bit too long in the same company before actually really taking that one big step to actually be brave and leave the company. I mean, when do you know it's the right time to actually switch jobs?
So I'm quite curious. How did you know that it was time to leave?
Okay, I wasn't really happy with my lifestyle after getting into the morning show. I was a lot grumpier. People noticed that I was very impatient. Although I was earning more money, but I think like I couldn't spend time with family, didn't spend time with friends. I was in this little circle. I was in a little corner that I probably see less than 10 people a day. And then my friends are out partying in the weekends while I'm just sitting at home sleeping. I did not kind of like the working environment I was in. I mean, like my colleagues are great, but there are some things that I didn't really. There were some things that I wasn't a fan of. I won't say that the bad outweighs the good. I mean, it's good, but there are certain things that I didn't quite agree to. And also at the same time, I was starting this whole YouTube gig, but it wasn't really a business. But for me, it's like, hey, I was so simple-minded to think that, hey, you know what? Even if I get like 1 or 2 jobs from this YouTube business a year, it could sustain my lifestyle, no problem, right? Then that's where I'm like, okay, I talked to a bunch of friends who ran their own businesses. Obviously, your friends will always tell you, leave lah, you know what I mean? Until I kind of maybe met some friends. I met some friends abroad, and then they told me that they gave me that reassurance, or not a reassurance, but they gave me that confidence. Like, look, do something that you're happy with, and surely enough, when you do something you're happy with, you kind of somehow or rather find a way to monetize it. Because you are in survival mode right now, you will do just about anything. You will do the right things, you will do the wrong things, you do dumb things, you do things that you look back at 10 years after, you'll be like, I did that I know I did that because I needed money, that kind of thing. And you will look back at certain projects like, I did that for like $500. At that time I need money. You will look at that, but when at that time when you look back and you realize and you cringe at your decisions back then, you know that you have evolved. So they reassured me by saying that you will go to the dumps for a while, but that's when you have to make the decision for yourselves, because now you are your own boss, or you are on your own. You have no organization to kind of be there and back you up. You are on your own, so it's testing your survival mode. Whatever you learn from the company, you bring it out and you apply it to yourself. And then, if all else fails, they'll say, if all else fails, man, you got a degree, you got a paper, just go back to another company, I'm like, oh, okay.
Go on hired leave, find another job.
So that's why. That's kind of why I left my job, because again, I mentioned pay was not bad. I just didn't like the lifestyle.
It's like kind of the culture a little bit and the work-life balance.
The culture was fine, but just my lifestyle. My lifestyle completely changed. I can go to work when the sun is down and leave work when the sun is down. Yeah, if we don't get a gotcha call, we stay there till we get a damn gotcha call. So yeah.
Sounds familiar.
Production is like that too. Yeah.
So you left that kind of working hour to come back to that kind of working hour again.
Yeah.
So now you do it for yourself, lah.
Yeah.
That's the difference. That's the biggest difference there, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the reason. I think the big step that made me was more of like I didn't have anything solid, but I knew that the minute I left. Here's the funny thing though. The first day I left radio, I slept for 18 hours.
Wow.
And I woke up, I freaked out. I thought I was late for work, and I was like, oh, wait, I left. Yeah, I left. Yeah. And it's you get up. You know like how like. Sometimes you get up, it's like, oh, I'm late for school. And yeah, I get up, oh my God, I'm late for work. Oh wait, I'm not working anymore. Yeah. And then after a while, I kind of like
took a while to get used to
got used to it, but then it became a lot more positive. Then it allowed me to kind of do things that I want to do. Then yeah, I mean, it's very hard to explain because like, you know, again, like yourself, I never had like a business foundation. I didn't know how to run a company. It's just everything just kind of worked out, but it's not that everything fell into place automatically. I had to fail a lot to understand the decisions that I make lah. Or not every decision I make is a great one, but after a while, when you've been doing this for almost 12 years, you kind of already know,
right.
you know, the ballpark.
Yeah. So, and then I guess you're one of the rare ones that kind of took that leap and started their own business.
Yeah.
So I for a lot of people, I think when they are thinking about leaving, most of the time something is missing. Right? Something is missing from wherever they are, and it will be something that they value. So the most common one I hear is like growth, So typically, this is the most common one.
It's not really the money, it's like they feel that they are stuck already.
Yeah, a lot of employers would think it's money, you know. If fella leave, okay, all right, I'll counter your pay. But isn't that the wrong thing to do? Because like the minute you counter, they'll think like, oh, you mean actually you can pay me more?
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally. So in Hirely, we have like a no counter offer policy. So if someone resigns, then I will ask, oh, where are you going? And then so on. And then the next day, oh, I wish you well. You know, that's it. So because from my point of view, sometimes you counter offer, it also seems a little bit insincere.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have paid you more.
It happened to me because I asked for what I wanted, and I'm just tell me if like they were bullshitting. It's like, oh, you know, HR won't allow this. There's certain procedures. We can't give you such high of a jump.
Always HR.
We can't give you so that high of a pay jump. It doesn't justify a promotion and this and that. I resign. Okay, I give you what you want.
Right.
So it did not make me feel better. It did not make me like still like, oh wow, they're giving me what I want now. I'll stay. It made me feel like, oh, so like the past 7 years I was here, what I wanted, you didn't give. What was that? You know what I mean? It immediately made me feel even more, it belittled me like hell. It felt like I was being taken for a ride.
Right, yeah. So that's why, in general, my sense is the same. So in terms of whether it's a HR policy, it's probably true. But then I guess people should relook at how HR works.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of like counter offers and stuff. And so for people who are wondering whether it's time to go, right? So if it's missing something, so career growth, just like I said, it's not really money. In a way, career growth is related to money, but it's related to future money. So people always want to know that I'm on a path that I can still earn future money. I mean, they don't think of it so literally, but that's actually what they're thinking.
They can feel the trajectory, they can see the ladder.
Yes, they must feel like their life is progressing and all that, right? So if you're not sure, my suggestion is you can go interview, right? And when you interview, then you can figure out like is what you are missing really out there? You know, so that's just kind of like your first step.
Yeah.
Right? And if you don't get any offer in the first place, then there's nothing to talk lah.
Yeah.
Alright, not many will be like Eugene just come out and like start a business, right? So you might want to kind of test water a little bit, and you may find that there's actually not really. But the reason I say this is because by default, I'm hoping everyone doesn't think about leaving like their first option is to leave.
Yeah.
Like, so your first option is always to try to see what you can work out internally. And the reason I say that is maybe you can work this out internally, and if you can, then it's good, because if you keep leaving your job every time you feel like something is missing, you never figure out certain skills, how to progress internally in your company. So you keep changing job. Every time something
you just think you need to jump and
correct.
jump.
Every time something you just change job, which in the long term is actually not good for your CV.
So how do you initiate that? Like say if you want to work things out internally, right? How would someone like start that kind of conversation?
I kind of feel that Ryan's gonna use this against me.
Jim, I think tomorrow 2:00 we have a talk.
Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, talk about progress, right? I like to use a bit like I think the analogy is like sort of like asking someone on a date lah.
Ah.
I would think something like that. So before you even ask your boss or manager to consider you for promotion,
Yeah.
you should be kind of sure that their answer is going to be yes.
Right.
So what I mean by that is that, so imagine again, you think about asking someone on a date. If you ask someone, let's say a girl or guy out on a date, and they have no attraction or feeling to you whatsoever at the point you ask this question, it's kind of like a downhill slope from there because they're like, oh, why, why are you asking me? I mean, like, let's say promotion. Why are you asking for more promotion? Your work is so, Oh, this person going to be very hard to manage. That's what they're sort of like thinking right now. So the best way to do it is like, before you even ask, make sure that your work is visible. That means sometimes some people do a lot of invisible work.
Yeah.
That means they just quietly just do the work and they think that people will notice me. Actually,
But people don't.
They don't.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to, I'm not asking you to show off, but just make sure that people can know that you are doing work that matters, that's contributing to the company, and you're working hard. That's the first thing. And second thing is that there has to be a very high trust relationship between you and your manager or your boss.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I made this mistake before, like in the past, for example, I had a manager, but I related closer to my manager's manager.
So you kind of like jump one already.
Because my manager, at the time I thought, oh, this person thinks like me. So
Right.
I always jump straight to my manager's manager, which in a way breaks the trust with my direct
Yeah,
manager.
yeah.
Because they will feel like, hey, like you're trying to take my job. Like,
Why you jumping above my head?
yeah. I mean, this is one example. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is good or bad behavior. This is like how reality works.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you need to have a very high trust relationship manner that they will feel that if this person is progressing and promoting, like this is we are aligned lah. I benefit from this too. We grow together and all that. So two things lah. Right? Make sure your work is visible, and then make sure that your manager like really trusts you, have a good relationship with them. There is a third thing which is a little bit tricky in that they have to feel that you have options.
Right.
That's the third thing. So this is the way I say it's tricky. It's a bit like how you interview, right?
Yeah.
You cannot tell them that I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
Because then you kind of breaks the relationship. But you have to make them feel like I can leave if I want to.
Yeah.
But I want to be here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So then they're like, okay, then
The guy with nothing to lose lah, and
it's
either way you can walk out of the situation,
Correct.
win-win lah.
Correct. I'm sitting on this table now. I want to work out something with you because I want to be here. But if let's say we can't work something out, I guess I will go lah.
Okay. Yeah.
No, but you are my first
But it's not a threat. It's not a threat. It's not like if we don't do this now, I'm going.
Yeah. It's a very dangerous thing to do. I mean, I've had like employees who sort of tried this before, like sort of like they say, oh, I've got this offer on the table and I prefer but working here. And the first time, like, oh, okay, like let's discuss the plan, how you can get promoted. Let's say at the beginning. The second time it happens, like, hey, wait a minute. And then by the third time, I kind of hear the same thing. I was like, I think you can go lah.
Man.
I mean, it's not like you always have one foot out the door like that, right? So it's just it's a bad way to build that relationship.
Yeah, it is. Because I think as much as you think that people won't realize, they will realize it. They'll pick it up.
Yeah.
Because I feel that running a business, right, managers are more... Like I run a business, I didn't realize this when I started the business, but we tend to always not worry. Yes, worrying about the business and cash flow is one thing, but learning to understand each single employee individually is also what we need to do.
Yeah.
That's right.
That is really important.
And it gets hard when you have like a lot more. Like in our case, not so bad because we have 10 people now.
Are you kidding me? I have to understand
like
25 people.
25 people. Yeah, that's like, well, if you hang on the office more.
I have to understand. Like, no, man. And
starts to get a bit much, a bit overwhelming, right?
But I mean, that's where again you have different teams and managers to do that for you, and then they just it's like a tier, a tier, the gateway to to whatever comes here. Oh, this is very, very interesting conversation. I think like the one thing that you mentioned about when people leave, it's not so much about the money. Sometimes it's about growth, and then what helps when it comes to growth, because people can always say that, oh, you know what, some people may just want to leave a company, and then they ask you, oh, why you want to leave the company? Oh, I just want to grow. But most of the time, sometimes they don't even know where they need to grow at. How does one identify it, or how can one know that they are in the right trajectory of growth?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question. In fact, it's one of the most common things I hear if I ask someone, oh, why do you leave this company to join? I go, oh,
I want to grow.
I want to grow. It's a bit cliche in my opinion, and doesn't really address like very clear. Yeah, I think Yeah, if you want to grow, I think there must be a very specific reason. So if let's say I ask this question and I say, oh, why do you leave to join Nike? And they say, oh, because I wanted to grow.
Okay.
My first follow-up question is, oh, why couldn't you get this with the previous company?
Right.
I will ask this question and I'll see how they answer. So then they'll be like, so I'm trying to test if there's a valid reason here or not. Is it because they didn't perform, or because they're trying to run away from something, or they're just leaving because it was convenient and easy.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out mindset. So like a good example could be, let's say, I work in a small company, it's not really growing.
Yeah.
Right, and I want to go to the next step, and I talk to my manager, my boss, and they understand it, but there's just no role beyond this right now, based on what the business is going through, and because of this, I also my manager's blessing say, look, if you find something, go. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, that's very mature. You thought it through, and there's a very valid reason why
you're leaving for
sort of looking up. Right, but most of the time I find that when people say that, oh, because I want to go, it's like a very lazy answer. Just
it's like a throw, like a catch-all answer. Template answer.
Yeah. So in terms of what people really want, I think like I say, like everyone wants to grow. I think it's human nature to want to grow like in your career.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some people that say in a certain phase of your life, you might be like, I'm comfortable the 9 to 5 routine. I don't really grow, make some money. Okay, one day you might get there.
Okay.
Right? I don't know when.
I know of people who they just want to go in, do their job, and then take the money and enjoy their life outside.
Correct.
They're very, very
simple
okay.
Yes.
Yeah. The money is not bad, but it's not super duper fantastic. It's just enough for them, those kind of people.
Yes, and I think if this is you, okay, more power to you. This is what at least you are clear.
At least you're happy.
Yeah, you're happy. You're clear. This is what I want.
Yeah.
And your company is happy. Okay, I don't have to worry. This person always want to go. Right. But for if you're young, and I imagine most young people in your earlier career, I think everyone is human nature to want to grow. And from my experience, the first, say, 5 to 10 years of your career sort of almost sets the tone for the rest of your career.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, very
Right?
true. Very
Right?
true.
So say a simple example. Let's say if you are an accountant in an oil and gas company, like very similar, and you do it for like 10 years, very likely you're going to stay as an accountant for the rest of your life. And
No, I'm going to come on and be a YouTuber.
I mean, there are some exceptions, but most cases cannot one. That's your path. And if what sort of sort of to stack on top of this, right? Let's say you're accountant all this company, and you are at the junior level 10 years later. So seniority is not about how much a level of experience. Some people just get stagnant at a certain level, right? Let's say you stay as an executive for 10 years.
Yeah.
The probability that you are able to grow after that is very hard.
Okay.
It gets very hard. Whereas versus you contrast someone, let's say I start as a junior exec, few years later I become assistant manager, few years later I become manager, and then you can see like up. It's like momentum one. So the next employee, when you look at this one work must be performed very well, this I get promoted, and it's like a sort of like a self-fulfilling prophecy like that. Then you keep growing. So and because this really matters, I really think that anyone 5 to 10 years of experience, we're just starting out, and you obviously care about your career, you have to really figure out how to get promoted.
Okay.
Really, really. I mean, then it's really important because it really does set the tone for your career.
So, okay, in terms of promoting, okay, that's a very good question. When you mentioned you need to figure out how you get promoted, because a lot of people tend to think that, oh, you know what, I'm going to do my work as the best I can and get noticed, and then hope I get an automatic promotion because they notice me. And that's where you mentioned that there are some work that's visible work.
Yes.
So are you trying to say that, when you do some work, you kind of need to in the right way, for the lack of a better word, take credit for what you've done and show it to your boss? Or what does someone need to do in order to stand out to get a promotion? Like, because nobody goes up to a boss, hey, I want a promotion, otherwise I'm leaving. You know what I mean? Because most of the time when someone asks a boss that I want a promotion, they'll be thinking like, oh, okay, if I don't give it to you, you're gonna leave, right? That kind of thing. So it's like, how does one actually start to ask for a promotion?
Yeah, I would lean to over communicating. That means always over communicate slightly with your boss. That means like they're up to date about what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're very transparent about your work, what challenges and how you're solving it, and then somebody asks them for advice. And again, that also builds trust with your boss.
Got it.
But because they're so visible about what you're doing,
Yep.
and for them it's like you, and them it's like that you are a team.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that really, really helps. And at the time when you're asking for promotion, even if you're not ready, then they would at least be in the state of mind to say, okay, like you want a promotion, you're not ready, let's have this conversation.
Okay.
You can trial first.
Yeah,
let's
maybe
see what you can actually do.
Yeah. So if there's so back to my analogy now, let's say there's the relationship is that they really see you as someone that can be promoted.
Yep.
But something's missing. You have an honest conversation with them and say, okay, So you're saying right now that perhaps I'm not ready yet. Maybe share with me what you think you might want to see. Right? What would you like to see from me to make you feel that, make you comfortable that I am ready for the next step, and I will work with you on this.
Right.
So you try to get this very clear as possible. Sometimes, maybe even your boss hasn't thought about it.
Okay, yeah.
So you sort of
It didn't
force them-
occur to them until you
okay.
bring out the question.
Yeah, they sort of like, okay, this person's not ready to be promoted. They don't really know, they're busy doing their work, there's something missing.
Yeah.
But when you sort of force them to pause for a moment, they think, okay, I'll tell you what.
Okay.
These are the 3 things that I never really saw.
Okay.
And I hope if you can demonstrate this, then I think you're ready. I think, so you force your boss to think about it, sort of put it on paper or verbally tell you.
Do you think there'll be an instance where you ask your boss to think about it and then they think, then they'll be like, yeah, God, I can't really think of anything that you're not ready. Then let's go.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Possible also,
And
right?
that's how you get a straight yes.
Because like you said, they never really like put too much thought into it yet. And when you put them on the spot, then it's like, then they really try to like scan and analyze everything.
Yeah, so one people have to figure out is like your boss or manager, right? So their KPI is not to promote people.
Yeah.
They're going day to day, not thinking who should I promote today.
Yeah.
It's not, but they're doing their work.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like, it's not that they're intentionally sidelining you. It could just be like a slip of mind. They're not thinking about it. So you just bring it to the front.
It's definitely not their priority to promote everyone on a daily basis.
Not thinking this person is very no. But maybe they're more than open to promote you. So sometimes if you, some companies have very good HR process.
Yeah.
Right, this comes automatically, but this may not be most companies. So so you bring to the front and you force your boss or manager to think about it.
Yep.
And then they might think, oh, actually I think. Like that you make sense, and then you think about how to actually promote.
It's yeah, so promotion always is very relative to salary increment and stuff like that. Some people always tend to say this thing, the best way for you to earn more money is to jump ship, to jump to another company. Do you agree to that? Or like what you mentioned earlier on, whatever you can try to do it internally, you do it internally first. What's your take on that?
I still lean to do it internally first if you can.
I see.
But it is also true that if you want your salary to grow, a very easy way to do is to jump ship.
Yeah.
Right? Because in most cases, the next company will pay an increment to hire you. This is generally how the market actually works. But this is the reason I say it's a very dangerous place to be is because if you overdo it, then after that your CV looks very bad. So maybe the first time you do, let's say the general I think is like you shouldn't average less than 2 to 3 years in one company. That's what I would see. You shouldn't average less than 2 years. So if you're changing jobs every year, the first time you do it, you can. Second time you do it, maybe you can. By the third or fourth time, it's going to get harder and harder because your CV is getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
I think as an employer also, it's like, why do I want to invest in a person who's only going to be here?
For
I'll
2
probably take
years.
like 6 months to teach you my back end. And then after that, 4 more months you leave, you'll be like, it's a waste. It's a waste of money for the company.
I imagine, especially if they're trying to go for like higher up positions, because I imagine like if you do it so many times already, you've been working for like 6-7 years. You're not gonna go in for like the junior exec position, right? You want to try and get like a minimum like a junior manager or manager kind of.
Yeah,
level.
but then again, from an employer's point of view, so if this person doesn't even spend more than 1 year specializing in that one particular field, how can they justify me taking a risk on giving him that amount of money when he's not specialized in this? And specialized doesn't mean like you do a few months or 1 year is good enough. If you have 3 years experience of this one specific task, automatically the employer will probably think that, you know what, this guy is probably an expert here, or his skill set is really fixed and really at top-notch level for this particular task. So I guess there's both sides of a story at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I agree. Like if you do it for less than a year, like how much have you really contributed? And I think the first time you change jobs 1 year, maybe you give some excuse, and the new employee might believe you.
I hate my boss. My boss, the work culture is toxic.
Can be all kinds of reasons, right? And the second time, maybe the next boss, the next employee will believe you. By the third or fourth time, they're going to start thinking maybe it's you. Right? So they're going to start thinking like that. And the other thing is like, when you are in a job, right, I come back to getting promoted. Really, really try to get promoted in whatever role you're doing, because if someone is progressing by changing jobs, so what I mean is that I'm an exec now, my next job is assistant manager, as in I change job. My next job is manager, I change job again. But I've never been promoted in the job that I'm in. So that can be a sign that, you're very good at interview. You managed to convince the next employee that you can do the next job. That's why they gave it to you. But you never really demonstrated it in your work. Because if you did, you would have been promoted already.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
that's
would
true.
have gotten the growth internally in your company, not
Yeah.
by changing jobs. Right?
I see.
Yeah. So something to kind of
It's like they are very good at putting on a show at first lah, but when it comes down to it, they can't walk the walk lah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when I say this, obviously there are a lot of job seekers listening to this. I just want them to be conscious and aware that this is how the employer might be looking.
They
at
might not
their
even
CV.
be doing it like consciously, you know. So I'm pretty sure some people out there think, oh, want to get promotion, change job. They don't like getting promotion in house might not even be like on top of their mind.
Correct.
Because it's
Yeah.
just very easily said. Why people say, "Oh, you want a promotion? Just leave your job, lor." There's never a talk
Yeah,
to your boss.
yeah.
It's always like when the person says like, "Oh, I kind of want to get a promotion," they automatically think your place is not a good place to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that straight away. Boom! I judge you
Because
based on
I know
that.
there's definitely that sentiment out there where it's like you want a raise, jump job.
Yeah,
Jump
that's
ship.
that's always that.
I hear this phrase so many times before. Like you need to jump ship to make that increment.
Yeah.
If you
so
stay there, they will never give you. It's every year 100 ringgit, 200 ringgit. Only. You want that really nice increment. You have to jump ship.
Yeah.
And every employer always has this mentality of like every employee will probably stay within 2 to 3 years on average, that kind of thing. Like, if they're gonna leave, I expect them to leave. That's why that I wish there was more two-way communications. They kind of make the workplace a much better place.
Yeah. You
Like-
need some balance. So I
Yeah.
still think that there'll be some cases where it's time to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just saying
Definitely.
like just don't make it your default lah. So
Yeah.
if you are already wondering, you should start internal conversations, but you can also go interview one.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
said, you go interview and you really find out whether this thing is really out there,
Mhm.
the thing that you think you're missing.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And once you get the offer, you can decide then, right? But don't make the call so soon. Don't just resign without a job. Like just look for something first
Yeah.
if you're curious. Yeah.
Okay. Here's another question. Like, what are based on because you work at Hiredly, so Hiredly is a platform that people can go to look for jobs, and also for employees to obviously list their jobs. Right? It's a two-way thing. What are people lacking these days based on your observation when applying for a job? The most if it's top 3, what is your number 1?
You'd be very surprised how many kind of low quality CVs I've seen. How many very kind of like very standard interview questions that I get a poor answer to.
Right.
Right, which would surprise me. So, and the reason I say this is because there's so much information on the internet.
Yes.
If you wanted to write a good CV, search write CV. I'm sure you get like 10,000 great articles.
Right.
Not just article, got template for you to straight away download.
Correct.
Type in
I just
your name
download this
enough already.
template, change my name only.
Yeah, just change the info only.
Yeah. So that all the common interview questions are out there. They even suggest to you how to answer. So what I feel is missing sometimes is like I said earlier, sometimes people take it for granted because it's so easy to find a job.
Yeah.
Right? If they take it for granted. So at this side of the mindset, I heard this quote before. It goes, I'm butchering the quote, but something like, if information was all we needed, everyone would be billionaires with like perfect apps.
Oh.
Yeah.
Basically, like you might saying that actually information is everywhere.
Yeah.
The most important thing is people don't take action
Yeah.
on the information. So I really tell people like you go out there, you really interview for the job like it's your dream job. Apply, do it, and then when you get it, then then you decide, right? Don't in the beginning, don't take it seriously and all that.
Is it a big red flag for you when you see, like, if you're interviewing someone and you see they are like somewhat unprepared for the interview?
Oh, of course.
Is that like a big red flag, or do you like tend to give them a bit more benefit of the doubt? Or
Oh, okay.
Sometimes some people are not good at interviewing lah. So this is what I tell people. So if I'm flipping over to the employer side, I'll tell the employer, the purpose of your interview is to try to find someone that you believe can do the role well. That's the purpose of the interview. Your purpose of the interview is not to find out if someone got good interview skill or not.
Yeah.
So even if you encounter someone who doesn't have good interview skill, I would tell, like some employees, this sucks. Don't default to that.
Yeah.
You can you ask more questions. You find out this person can do their work or not. Maybe the performer, they just don't know how to talk. So you try to do that. That's very important. So generally, this is kind of how I see it.
Interesting. So Hiredly. So how long has Hiredly been running for now? It used to be WOBB. So it's almost like how many years now?
Hiredly has been around almost 8 years now.
Oh wow. So you could like I can go. Oh, I don't need to go. I run the business. I can go to Hiredly.
You can list.
I can
jobs
list
on
jobs,
Hiredly.
on Hiredly. Yeah. Looking for a business development manager, aka sales, by the way. Yeah. Can I get a discount if I list something on your website? I'm just kidding. Reply my WhatsApp. Yeah. Yeah, but thank you so much, Derek. I think like today's conversation kind of like helps us delve into the whole. It's actually something very simple, but there's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
Job hunting, job seeking, promotion, negotiation, and I feel like hopefully after this episode we'll be able to have like our listeners be able to kind of understand that it's not just about money. It's not just about happy money and happiness has got to work hand in hand in the place you work. It's not just about that place I know confirm can pay because they're an MNC. But when you go there, you're unhappy because maybe it's the working hours, maybe like or whatever. Not, but if you find a place that can pay you, okay, not too bad. It kind of meets some of your basic needs, not basic needs, but more than your basic needs, and you're happy. I think you should consider. And what really kind of stands out is like how there's this saying about how you jump ship to get more. But now Derek, you mentioned about like you should always work it out internally first, and I fully agree to that. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, thank you very much for your insights, Derek.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah,
I think this is a helpful podcast this time around. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, now is the time where a lot of people are graduating already.
Yeah,
So hopefully this helps you guys out there find a job.
Yeah.
Go on Hiredly. A lot of listings there.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Any more? Any, would you like to talk more about Hiredly? What can people do when they go on your platform? Can you download the app? Is it only a website?
Oh yeah, so you can go to the website hiredly.com. You can also download the app. So most of our users actually use us on the mobile app because it's very convenient.
Yeah, it is.
But we actually also have a headhunting service.
Oh,
yeah, which is very odd considering we do like mostly junior, like mid-level people, right? Because most people don't really get to experience talking to a headhunter when you're very junior.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like an internal vision for us. Like one day we hope that every young person, as soon as they graduate, can talk to someone rather than just blindly applying to jobs.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's what we're building towards. So if you go to the website, you upload your CV, even if you don't immediately find something you want to apply to, it's there. And one of the teams, even from the headhunting side, if they find something that they think you might like, then they'll kind of contact you and then you can kind of have that conversation with them.
So you have like a specific team, humans, that goes through every CV that comes in.
That's right, human beings, yes.
How many?
They're like the cupids, They see the employer and the employee. Hey, this one like match,
How many CVs do you get on average?
Oh, that's a huge amount. I mean, like every month, maybe like 20,000 or something.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's a lot.
of CV.
Yeah, so
Oh my god.
But at the end of the day, our philosophy is recruitment is a human experience.
Yeah.
So although we are digital and we're trying to use technology to scale, but you still can't take the human away. So we are that's why we have headhunting. We have very big teams that talk to people. You can talk to.
It's still a people's business, lah.
Yeah. It's actually very important.
I like to talk to the person that basically is appointed to just look through 20,000 CVs a month.
The I also cross I.
Yeah. All right. And Derek, thank you very much for your time. Before we wrap things up today, would you like to say anything to our listeners who are listening in today?
Well, I know that a lot of you maybe are thinking about your career. You're wondering what's going to happen in the future and you don't really know. My suggestion is a lot of times that you don't overthink it. Just take one small step at a time.
Yeah.
Right. Really think one small step at a time. And as you take these little steps, the path will slowly open in front of you, right? And I think too many people are too caught up in like having this big vision of themselves, but they can't see what they should be doing today.
Yeah.
So just think in these small incremental steps, and eventually you'll realize your vision.
Yeah. It's a marathon. It's not like straight away.
Not a sprint.
It's not a sprint. It's a journey that you will basically self-discover.
What's that saying? A journey of 1,000 steps begins with the first. Is it?
Something
like that. It's a Chinese idiom.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Make sure you check out Hiredly's official website. Download the app as well if you're looking for a job. If you want to work here at Aspect Ratio Studios, you can send your CVs to us too. We're looking for people. But of course, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, you can tune in on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can also watch us on YouTube as well. That's right. I've got some banners on the screen as well if you want to look for promotions and some stuff that you want to learn more about Hiredly. Thank you so much for listening. We'll speak to you guys next time.